Namaskar, everyone. So, welcome you all on this platform. Navvarsh ki Shubhkamna from Sentinel of Dharma and USA Politico and all our friends here in America. The topic of the day is what we are discussing this year is Hindu, the global Hindus and their issues, whether they're in America or whether anywhere across the world. But mostly we'll be discussing about America. What are the issues? What are the challenges they are facing? And in 2021, which is the start of a new decade, how we should take it forward. So that will be the topic of the day. And I welcome Aditya ji, Aditya Satsangi, and Manish Pandey. Uh, so let's get into this discussion. So Aditya ji, you want to wish your viewers and discuss?
Yeah, happy New Year to everyone, and really nice to see. And Sharaji, thank you for that great question to starting the debate. So, I feel that the Hindus are not like protesting enough for all the rights violation they're having. Just yesterday, a big report came out that in Pakistan the whole temple was destroyed, and still I don't see any widespread protests against that. And and another thing is the in Bangladesh also a lot of rights of Hindus have been compromised. During last week I heard that there are three more temples are vandalized in Dhaka, so that is again a problem. And also in the US also there is no mention of Hindu faith. When they say interfaith meetings in the US, hardly Hindus are called for anything. Like it's like a non-existent third largest religion for most of the Americans, I can say, from this perspective.
So I agree. Manish Pandey, you want to add something?
So, so on this context, definitely that is a concern where something happens anywhere in the world, the appropriate action what we think should be taken is not being taken. So
Right.
to start with,
Okay.
on the political spectrum and the human right activism. So nothing comes out, whether it's a country like India, country like US, and everywhere else, all the Hindus are residing. Nobody cares or bothers to pitch in these issues so that all the people can come together and raise the voice.
Agree.
So how we could come together on a common platform when this kind of issue comes in? That is uh,
Yes, yes. And there's a good point. So common platform is still a distant dream, which we are trying to. But I agree. The amount of reaction which should have happened based on what happened in Pakistan when they broke the temple and it was live telecast in today's world when you have social media and outcry happening in fraction of second, especially the Charlie Hebdo case. Nothing came. Forget about the different countries, the people in India, the very so-called progressive liberal media or the progressive people. I am yet to see a tweet. I was just following it. In fact, I was surprised when I called my friend this morning in Mumbai, and he's also kind of a pro Sanatani, and even he was not aware of what happened in Indore. So the two events which happened for viewers, one is the Pakistan event, where on January 1st, all this thing happened, and the New Year Saugat they gave to the minority community by breaking a 1919 temple. I think some Paramhans Guruji ke naam pe it was made, and they broke it. And then there was deities, Indian deities in that temple. Another was a very important event which happened in Indore, where a stand-up comedian, a guy from a minority faith, a very young guy, and a stand-up comedian, and his 80% audience obviously were from majority community, and they were enjoying his first January laughter, and he was using F word for our revered Lord Rama, and he was questioning Sita's character by comparing it with Madhuri Dixit's song "Mera Piya Ghar Aaya Ramji" and all those type of thing, and it was captured on the video. So the local youths who pray Lord Rama as their god, they videographed it. See how Hindus are so, within fraction of a second, they didn't cut the head off or started beating. It's funny video. It's not funny. I mean, it's a video which show the Hindu mindset. Even the militant wing, so-called militant wing of the Hindu group, they video record the entire event. They gave it to the local police while this event was still happening. Asked the police to do all the FIR, second FIR. The first FIR was already done on this guy, and they got the police. Meantime, somebody got on the stage, and you see the debate. He's saying, "Hey, why are you doing this, Lord Rama? Why using F word for Lord Ram?" He used F word for Lord Ram, and it was very like almost 20 minutes of logic, tark vitark, which we do, which is built in our system. Then finally, one young youth came and gave one big slap to that guy, and then immediately he was pulled out from the stage and dragged, and then police came and took him to the thana. So we are still so civilized, even in our, we are used to hearing all these things. So this is the building block or core of us where we struggle. We don't immediately go like a typical Abrahamic faith and start cutting the neck. Maybe that kind of aggression is required when your opponent has no logic, but just to blame you. So again, we are very surprised. There is no anger, and because people are still celebrating first, they will probably pardon this as one mishap, I think. These type of things should be built in our people. Too much of rationality, logic, tark, vitark for everything. I think that's hurting us. Aditya ji, what's your take? Since you interact with so many young kids, you do a very great job of enriching the society by having sociology courses where you teach Gitas and all. So on USA Politico platform, how can we reach out to the congressman and the senators to let them know that this is not right, this is going one way? Where are your so-called human right record, credential, and all this thing? So yeah, please go ahead.
So we have a huge community in North America, and we are one of the biggest community here, and I can say that we are the most prominent community in a way, economic contribution to North America. But I can say one thing is that nobody is paying attention to what is happening with our community everywhere. So just because we have accepted this country as a home can also be a big opportunity for American politicians to reach out at the ground level in India. So not a single statement from USCIRF has come condemning violence in Pakistan against the minority Hindu community. But I see a lot of statements against CAA, which is meant for protecting these same communities, from American politicians.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, they have not commented on what's happening in Pakistan, the gross persecution of Hindu community. And their cricketer, Dinesh Kaneria, that example comes to my mind, very prominent cricketer in the Pakistan cricket team, and he's fighting for money. He has no money.
He has taken 300 wickets, 300 test wickets. Big thing.
And then that person is begging for money today. So that is the economic condition of Hindus, of prominent Hindus in Pakistan. What to speak of the weaker Hindus? And I'm just surprised that American politicians are turning a blind eye, sending them $25 million for education, which is totally questionable. When those money is going to be used by their radical politicians against Hindus, against Christians, against other minorities in Pakistan. And how blind we can be that Americans talk about human rights all over the world, but the human rights violation is happening in their own ally country, Pakistan. Pakistan is the American ally. It's still happening there. And you give them money for what? For education? What do you mean by education there? We need money in Pakistan to protect minorities first, not for education of rest of the people, because perpetrators cannot be victims. Very simple.
And Aditya ji, it's not only education. Within education, it is for gender equality. Now, laugh wholeheartedly. Gender equality in Pakistan, where you have, unfortunately. So,
but my question was, one question was, why this does not came into the radar for the human right activists? They don't want to raise it, or it didn't come to them, or they have kind of a blind eye, and it is always like this, or it's going to change also.
It
And
was
if it is going to change, who will be the catalyst person or organization who will make this happen?
catalyst will be Sentinel and USA Politico, Manish, and that's where we are contributing so much of effort here on this, using this platform, because we have seen many organization. Everybody, once they become of some size and capability, they all have a commercial interest. That's where the total dedication of the issue get diluted. But again, that's the different discussion we can have sometime. But another thing which you would also know, when the India's MEA, Mr. Dr. Jay Shiv Shankar, gave a statement that United Nations should now not only change structurally, but also start listing issues which are coming from non-Abrahamic faith, because all the issues, whether it's Africa, whether it's Asia, whether it's Europe, is all either a Christian or a Muslim related issues. There are hardly Tibetan issues. There's a Chinese group, Aditya, you can remember the name, some group
Falun
which
Gong.
fights with it. Yes, that group, that issue. Then the Syrian Hindus, the Kurdish issue. They are bottom end of the priority. And Hindus, we have always been ignored, even with our size. Even when 60% of the vaccine will be made in India, whether it's a Pfizer, Moderna, or whoever, that's the data. They just cannot make it happen by themselves. But maybe government should negotiate hard. Aditya, what's your view on this?
No, Sharaji, like complete ignoring you said it rightly, non-Abrahamic faiths, as if like Hindus, Buddhists have no existence in the world, and also the other independent faiths, like for example, Baha'i and other. The biggest non-Abrahamic faith in the world is Hinduism and Buddhism. So if you just stick to these two, and both have originated, are the home of both of these faiths is India, and we see a complete either ignorance or deliberate avoidance or deliberate hiding of news from their perspective. So we are missing out 12 to 16% of the world population, which has to be considered. So it's not just an Abrahamic world where only three faiths, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, live in this world. There are there are Hindus, there are Buddhists, who make up almost 3.5 billion people. India, China, Southeast Asia, completely, if you add everybody, and the growing Buddhist population in the Europe and growing Hindu population all over the world, we are looking at a very sizable number, practically 50% of the world. And two of the biggest economies, actually three of the biggest economies, including Japan, are in Asia. So now, and the size with the 2.6 billion people, 3 billion people, I mean, for God's sake, we have to somehow and these topics are not discussed in any mainstream media.
So again, let's keep this video short. We'll have another debate. But one thing I want to add, and Aditya, you can wrap it up, is two things. 2021 is a year of hope. Okay, we had a very long run of pandemic, both health-wise, politically, narration-wise, so many things. We can discuss that later. But it was a long run. But in 2021, two good things happened. One is the slavery, which was cleansed to some extent in 60s, with thanks to Dr. Martin Luther King, still was not eradicated from the system. Okay, and there were some residual impact or things left, which happened with the movement recently in America. So like removal of few of the symbols. I'm not talking about the Mount Rushmore type of symbol, but symbols of, say, a slave trader. If his statue was there, that was broken. That never happened in American setup. So change is happening, good or bad. I will let history to judge. Okay. Being a conservative, I think everything from past should be respected. One or two individual at that low level can be removed for the larger sentiment. That is okay, but that's my one view. Another thing which is very important, which happened, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, Australia. Australia is changing their national anthem. Okay, Australia is changing its national anthem to add Aborigines, the native Australians, in their national anthem. This is a big change. Things are happening. Probably India and Modi government has to make sure that with 2 years of non-permanent membership which India got in United Nations, it is going to play a very important role. So not many people know that it's not the 5 countries that have veto power. The 4 or 5 non permanent member together forms one veto. It's called collective veto. To pass any bill, this non-permanent member veto is also important. Okay, so India will one of that 3 or 4 countries. I think Korea, South Korea, India, and 2 more countries have been added.
Brazil and
so India,
Germany.
Yes.
And
So
South
India can play that role. Any issues which is listed. So earlier China could bring any issue against India based on Pakistan. Now it cannot be that easy walk. The issue has to be decided by. So there are a lot of things India can do. Probably we need a very enlightened person, a very motivated person to make things happen. So Aditya, you can wrap up this segment, and then we can get into next new topic.
Yeah. No, I think great points you made here. I think it's important for Americans to start viewing Hinduism with respect. I think that's what I can say a little bit, because in any discussions I participate in and I say I'm a Hindu, suddenly even the Republicans, they are a little bit, oh, we are a Christian country. No, in 1924, European settlers gave citizenship to Native Americans. Now, can you imagine the irony of that situation? That you conquered a country and then you give a citizenship to those people. And generally, in the TV viewership and TV and other media outlets, they are displayed as barbaric. Now, nobody has written history from their viewpoint, Native Americans' viewpoint. And similarly, the world is not just Abrahamic cultures or the church. The world has temples, and when Americans go for tourism, they go to see Hindu temples. They don't go to see a church, because church they see every day. If you ignore them or destroy them or undermine them, then it's not going to add to your faith. Very simple. Manish, you want to say
So with
something?
that, viewers, will end this piece of segment, and we'll get into the new topic. So thank you very much. This is a year of hope. Please join us, Sentinel of Dharma and USA Politico. USA Politico, we have a portal as well. Any political news you want to read or even write or contribute the content, come create your ID, and you can upload your own content, and it's read by a lot of US politicians who will be the lawmakers of this country. So it's good to come and write and be noticed. So thank you very much.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
Namaste.